news that's coming in on the Reddy brothers. In fact, we understand that the Supreme Court has dismissed the plea where the controversial mining baron Janardhan Reddy had sought to campaign for his brothers. We have Shrija who is joining us with more details on that. Shrija, we know of course that the two brothers right now are campaigning in Bellari, Somashekara Reddy and Karunakar Reddy. Take us through what this development really means.
Well, the apex court very categorically mentioned by saying that Janardhan Reddy cannot be campaigning in Bellary. Now, remember, it has become the Republic of Bellary only after the mining. In fact, it came to light. And also another point to be noted here is that it is the apex court's diktat where he cannot enter that particular district. But how it will definitely have larger implications as far as this elections are concerned. Remember, Amita, this is the most crucial election considering the fact that Karnataka is just one of the states which has Congress in power. But when you're really looking at BJP, they are trying too hard to make inroads here into southern India. Now, keeping that on mind, in the year 2013, Janardhan Reddy played a very pivotal role to catapult BJP to its success. And of course, BJP was once again now looking to capitalize on the, in fact, popularity of Janardhan Reddy. But however, considering the current status, even the National Party President Amit Shah did of course mention by saying that Janardhan Reddy will not be having any connection with the party whatsoever. But what we do understand is that currently, considering the fact that Sri Ramulu will be contesting from Badami seat, now of course it will be Congress, the candidate will be Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. We are going to see a very tough battle. But considering the fact, coming back to the BJP now, Sri Ramulu is confident of Yediyurappa, and also he has promised to win at least out of the 9 assembly seats, at least 5 will come under his scheduled tribes. Now that becomes really important for Sri Ramulu, considering he's a very close aide and a loyalist of Janardhan Reddy.
Well, absolutely. In fact, that is one tough battle that we're going to be looking at, Badami, where Sri Ramulu will be facing off CM Siddaramaiah as well in that particular constituency. But more importantly, Shrija, at this point, we've seen a lot of mudslinging happen between the two parties over the last couple of days, especially with the 2+1 formula that parties have been talking about.
Well, absolutely. Now, it's just another couple of days to go for the elections. Like I pointed out, this is going to be very crucial. And both the major parties over here in Karnataka, the Congress as well as the BJP, considering the fact that Congress is ruling right now in Karnataka, so they are doing all that they can so that they can come back to power. But on the other hand, you're also looking at BJP. But what also they are looking at is the kind of the tainted leaders that they have brought back into the fore. We're talking about the Reddy brothers, both the Karunakar Reddy as well as Somashekara Reddy. Now, that is exactly the reason now these people are taking a back seat. But however, to come back to power, they're doing all that they can as far as the BJP is concerned. That is the mudslinging, like you rightly pointed out. They are indulging, both the parties are indulging in mudslinging. They are also talking about the failures of both the governments. So, but however, the people here on ground are really aware of who are the ones who have developed the city, or even for that matter, like we're talking about different various schemes for various people, including the farmers, the Dalit community, including Bengaluru, the Silicon City on its own. There are people who are in fact deciding on their own whether in fact it will be BJP or they want Congress to come to power. But however, we understand that this won't stop until elections, and it will continue because this is the only way where they can register among the voters.
All right, Shrija, many thanks for getting us those details. We're going to keep a very close watch on both these constituencies, even with 1 week to go for elections 2018. But getting back the focus on what the youth really wants from the upcoming government. That's a question we're going to be asking. Very interestingly, we have youth presidents from both the parties who will be joining us right now. Rajesh L, who's the youth president of BJP, has joined us in this conversation. Interestingly, the Congress youth president is stuck in traffic in a city like Bengaluru. We're going to be talking to young people about what they want, because both their manifestos have now brought out several things when it comes to youth in particular. The biggest of all is that there are promises made to students that they will be given laptops and smartphones. Is that what students really want? I'm going to ask you this question. While the BJP has now said that they will be giving you laptops, the Congress has said that they will be giving you smartphones. Is that what you want? Don't you have a smartphone already?
I'd like to thank them for such a beautiful offer of laptops and smartphones. But the good news is we already have them. And if you can use the same large amount of money, probably giving us street lights so that we can feel safe when we're walking on the roads, or probably take up the issue of the fuming lake so that it doesn't fume anymore, it'd be much grateful. And it'd probably help us better than smartphones would.
And, to talk about the kind of promises made, finally, after much delay, the BJP's manifesto came out today. There are no promises as to what kind of jobs will be created, but they only say quality education. Does it disappoint you in some way that there are no promises made as such about the kind of jobs that will be created?
Yes, because as engineers, one of the major issues is jobs. And we're all struggling for it. And one of the major things that all of us face is the fact that when we go out in the market and when we actually face some work, we don't know how to do it. Because our education throughout feels obsolete. And this is something that I think has been raised so many times, but nothing has been done about it. And another point that I feel which is really personal to me, is the awareness of sex education. Because if the youth, the current generation, is still so stringent about talking about sex, then that's something that really needs to be looked upon. And I think government can really help us out with this. And if we have the government support, a lot of things can be prevented, because this is indirectly connected to so many things. We face rape culture, and we know the kind of statements that our political leaders have made, which don't exactly go hand in hand with what they promised to us. So, yeah, we really hope to see some improvement in that area.
Okay, before I get in more comments, I want you to jump in as in when you think there is a counterpoint that you want to make. But Rajesh, you're the youth president of the BJP. After a lot of delay, the BJP has released its manifesto. People here are saying that they don't want laptops and smartphones. What is your response?
Madam, basically, Narendra Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister, he is always behind the youth. I mean, every speech he tells, youth is power, youth is future. You know, they are working upon day in, day out of what has to be implemented. See, this is a good thing, asking the students, basically, instead of the political leaders and stuff like that. So they've been releasing this Mudra Yojana so that, every student becomes an entrepreneur. He stands on his feet, because I've been a student, so I know the problem, what I used to face. And see, they have bought many Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras. For example, our Honorable MLA Arvind Nimbavali ji, for this particular Mahadevpura constituency, which is the most highest tax paid and revenue generated constituency. More than 5 lakh voters stay here. The IT sector is completely here. He has bought this Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra to eradicate the unemployment. See, there are thousands of
But to counter that point, there is 18.9 million people who are going to be jobless. Are you convinced with what parties are saying?
Not exactly, because currently I think we need more emphasis on startups, because that is what is going to create jobs at the end of the in a few years. So how are they empowering startups? Like, they do get tax write-offs at the beginning, but then after that, what are they getting? We need a lot more. Right now, if I start a company, I'm not in a position to compete with any of the other players that are already existing in the same field. So how are you helping out those small companies?
Yeah, so what the quality of jobs, I think already in a press meet, I think Narendra Modi had already told that even a small job is a job. But for most of the people over here, especially in our constituency or actually in Bangalore, there are many engineers, around 140 engineering colleges. There are at least a lakh of engineering students who are graduating every year. You can't expect them to go and sell samosas, chai, and all this. Not everyone's going to become Narendra Modi. So we need good quality jobs, and that's not being done. Okay, you're making the country a manufacturing hub. So we are basically becoming logistics hub, manufacturing hub. But anything innovative, like Tesla Motors, something like this is not all happening in our country. An emphasis on that is not being done at present in our country. We are becoming basically manufacturing hubs instead of actually becoming something innovative, which will actually clear much more jobs in future than rather just jobs like the manufacturing job, back-end jobs and all these things. We need new jobs and better jobs at present.
In fact, Sadiq Ahmad, who is the Congress spokesperson, joins us right now. You've heard the students. First of all, you were stuck in traffic, firsthand how bad traffic is in the city of Bengaluru. But coming back to this jobs issue, a lot of people here are saying that we don't want smartphones, we don't want laptops. Your manifesto talks about how they're going to give away free smartphones. They want quality jobs, they say. Shouldn't that be the focus?
So I heard him saying about, after engineers are passed out, what they should be doing. And certainly they are not happy with the comments where people are suggesting them to be a pakoda maker or a pan wala and all that. So if you see in Karnataka, we have set up the startup wing, which falls under the ITBT department of Karnataka. Priyank Kharge ji heads that. And if you see, almost in last 3 years, if you will study, and if you can go to the website also, where we had initiated a program. Anybody who's from any background, he has money or he doesn't have money, he has an idea, he is passed out from the college, he can apply. They got an opportunity to present to the entire hierarchy, and you see so many startups have been selected and funded. So it's like people, I understand your pain. You guys have ideas. You guys can do wonders. You're talking about Tesla Motors, right? We are talking about Ubers and Facebook and all that. And you are right. We are not able to produce that. We have talent. Our brain is being migrated because we, in India, government is not able to support it. I mean, they are not able to enable them to convert that idea into the product. And that is where Modi government has failed miserably. If you see in 2014, they promised all this. And people like you, me, everybody actually went ahead with that thought that now the magic is going to happen. But the problem with Mr. Modi is that without having the infrastructural study of the things, he has announced and promised so many.
1 second. In Karnataka, at least till now, we had the Congress party. But then the point of the discussion is that in Karnataka itself, there are so many people who are unemployed. We've seen from this one district to another district. It's not about mudslinging. Is there any question that you want to ask when it comes to jobs? Are you convinced with what they have said?
I am not convinced because recently Triumph wanted to invest about $150 million into Karnataka to start up their facility, their production facility in Karnataka. Why didn't that happen in Karnataka and they had to take it to Hyderabad? Why was that so? So if a big facility was to come into play in Karnataka, there would have been like so many other jobs. I mean, like, look at the automotive field. It would have been a leading contender in the automotive field as well. But it was pushed away. Why it could have been because of the taxes, but Triumph Motors. Yeah, so why was that so?
Okay, so I'll tell you, see, we had cleared, we are in fact the first state to make a single window clearance system, where if an investment is coming, and we have a forum where we are actually running behind the globe, where we are trying to pull the investment, because we know well that the more investment comes to a state, better, flourish we would be, and we would be able to produce more job. We will be able to employ more of our own state's youth. So, but there is always, there is a process and there is a compliance. So something which might not fit well in the compliance parameters, let's say, or the technical requirement parameters. Certainly those kind of opportunities we have to let go. But if you see otherwise, today, I mean, globally, Bangalore is becoming one of the investment destination. Bangalore has come up as most dynamic city of the world, beating Shanghai. Reason for traffic. It's not that, the vehicles are more. We have made Bangalore so lucrative for the whole world that the entire world wants to come to Bangalore. And
is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Because he was just talking about traffic. Bangalore is rated to be the worst city when it comes to traffic after Singapore and global cities like Singapore and Bangkok during peak hours.
Yeah, actually, very true. See, during our tenure, I mean, the BJP government, we had designed many signal-free corridors and many things. Nothing came to implementation. The Congress government is, I don't know, everyone knows about it, how badly they have failed and they have ignored. Just imagine Madhepura. We are the highest taxpayers and revenue generated constituency. Not even 25% of the funds has been released to Madhepura. So this is the situation. We have done N number of protests we have done. Whatever was possible, we have done it. So they have ignored us completely.
But at the end of the day, your own manifesto to address these problems does not talk about what solutions you're going to give. You're only talking about extending metro services. You're only talking about building infrastructure, coming up with a fund. But what happened to public transport? Your manifesto does not talk about it.
No, the suburban railway system, see, the India government has sanctioned 17,000 crores. You must be knowing about it. So that has to come into act. And for sure, after May 15th, once the government is formed, we will implement all these things.
Will that solve the problem? I'm going to take one quick question from you before I move to students.
Okay, to answer what he has said, I'll tell you. You actually stopped me in between. So, Bangalore being the most favorite destination, there are a lot of migration locally, nationally and internationally which has happened, and that has caused the imbalance of the traffic, and that has been a problem. But we are trying to solve it. If you see the metro work which has been finished so fast and the extension, basically their manifesto is nothing but the copy of Congress manifesto. So you would have read the Congress manifesto, you read their manifesto, you'll find it. Now coming back to his point about the railway. See, central government versus the suburban railway was not able to gel with. So our government has taken an initiative and we are ready to invest 80,000 crore rupees in coming times to make sure that one end of Bangalore to another end of Bangalore you reach in 20 minutes time, and that would happen in next government. So this is to address about the traffic problem. You can ask your question now.
So I'm going to take this forward to the students here. At the end of the day, we've spoken so much about jobs, we've spoken so much about infrastructure. Tell me this, do you believe that all of these plans will take forever to materialize? What about short-term measures? There is no proper timeline to any of the promises that are made. He says it's a copy of the manifesto. This person says he's not fulfilled any of the promises. Do you think that there's just some massive mudslinging happening and no work on it?
I feel that a new leader is put into place so that he can get corrupted, because that's the pattern which the society has been following. BJP government, Congress government, whoever it is, as long as the people don't end up having some measures of profit or well-being or growth, it's useless. 10 years ago, okay fine, 5 years ago, for me to reach from HL to Matali, it used to take around 5 minutes, say 10 minutes. Now I'm stuck in traffic for over an hour. Okay? Projects like the Hyperloop or multiple projects which was with respect to Tesla was supposed to be implemented into India. None of that has ever happened as of now. Like my friend told, Triumph was supposed to invest, it did not happen. During around 10 years ago, Range Rover, Land Rover came into India, but then again, there's no growth even then from there. Whoever's coming in, if they can promise and if they can stick to the promises which they make, well and good. If that's the case, the students of our college, the students of our society will vote to the right candidate. That's what I
In fact, I'm going to ask you this question. While you cast your vote this time, what is that one thing that you're going to look at? You have read the manifestos. You have seen what people are talking about on social media, in platforms, in rallies as well. What is that one thing that you're going to, take a look at?
I will particularly look at women's safety and comfort, which I found in the Congress manifesto to an extent, but again, I'm very unsure of to what extent it's going to be abided by. Another point that I'd like to make while our Congress representative was speaking, while you were talking about traffic and you mentioned that the reason why we have so much traffic is because there's migration and Bangalore has opened its way to the globe. But tell me how, when today I was stuck in Bowmanhalli and there was a campaigning rally going on and I had to be stuck there for 2 hours, how is migration and opening doors for the world a reason
That's a
for
direct
all of that?
Yeah. So to address that only, see, the 80,000 crore which we are going to invest in the metro, I told you that, it will not take more than 20 minutes time for you to travel from one end to another end. And this is part of the strategy and this is part of the planning. And it is going to happen very soon because we are not promising that, 2025, 2030, we'll do this. We are not promising you moons and stars like Modi ji. We are being very practical because we have hands-on experience of doing this. And out of that, we are saying.
We have just about
Sir, do you realize how long it took us to get the metro? And we have our metro construction going on at Tin Factory, and it's hell. And to commute from that to build a system like what you are talking about, it's brilliant, but is it feasible and right? Is it practical enough for? Because it's causing a lot of hindrance right now at the moment.
Absolutely, and in fact, with the kind of things we're seeing in the manifestos should have happened before. CCTV cameras should have happened before. The infrastructure fund that you're talking about should have happened before. Last mile connectivity should have happened before. All of this is coming now, and how many more years will it take for the any government which comes in to do? I'm going to take in one last question, answer from you on this. 1 week to go. What are you looking at? What is that one thing that you will look at while you're casting your vote this time, whether it is the Congress or the BJP or the JDA?
Okay, so to be really practical, I'm not convinced with both the parties' manifesto because they haven't clearly addressed anything regarding agriculture as of now. Because BJP, as far as the last 2 years concerned, promised that they wouldn't be signing the FTA at the World Trade Center, but ended up doing that. So in that case, what happens is you are allowing foreign companies and foreign nations to set up investments in with respect to agriculture in the state. And if that happens, the clause states that you have to close the ration shops. So if a ration shops are closed down, the farmers don't have a platform to get your produces to be sold, and that's where the foreign players come in and they have a direct control over that. So that in turn is going to make things worse for the farmers. So that hasn't been addressed by both parties. So I'm still on a very skeptical note, but till the last date, if they are willing to make some changes, if they're willing to make strong promises, it will still be a very judgmental note to look at.
Well, that is the word coming in from the youth here in the state of Karnataka, who are very, very clear of one thing, that they will be looking at manifestos and deciding based on the manifestos, the kind of promises, the kind of timelines that have come in, because what has been promised so far is just not good enough, is what people are saying. They're saying that this should have already happened so far. Why has it not happened? They say that that is one thing that they're going to take a look at before casting their vote. On Mirror Now, every day at 5, we're going to continue to track everything that's happening in Karnataka elections 2018. With that, we're wrapping things up here on this bulletin. There's more coming up on the other side. Stay with us.